Sumo. Hi everyone, I'm Crow77. Today we're going to take a look at a Paifu. That is a review of someone's game to, look at mistakes and that sort of thing. Now, most of these games come from my viewers, so if you're interested in getting in on the action, take a look in the description. We have a Discord server where you can just submit games that you want to. Now, there's also a Patreon if you don't want to wait in the queue and want to get right to the top of the list. So, without any further ado, remember to like and subscribe, and let's take a look at the game. So player doesn't have any direct things they're looking at, just trying to get to know the player, their play style and everything, and kind of see what's going on here and what we can find. Now, starting right here with this opening hand, this is obviously a slightly odd one, starting with the con and everything. You don't call that right away or anything, especially with a 4 attached to it. Just doesn't make sense. So at this point, we are probably trying to emphasize speed on this hand, so we should see a pretty normal opening as far as like discarding the west wind to start out here. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, and with that double east coming out, the east is a much better discard, but we do see that green dragon right away. So that helps quite a bit, and we do find the east here now instead. And we set up that. Okay, so here's where some players get into trouble. They look at this sort of thing, they're like, oh, okay, well, I can call this con and discard this 4. But that's not necessarily what we want to be doing. We want to be trying to keep this con around, so no point in calling it or anything just yet. And we're looking to call that green dragon more than anything. Yep, so you see the green dragon. And there's the mistake. Okay, so let me back up just a little bit here. So one of the common things I'll say is that I go by the principle of a Mahjong is enough. Like, you don't need to get any more risky than that or anything like that. So with this kind of hand right here, we have a good weight, 3, 4 waiting on 2, 5. The 2 is likely to come out because we're completely blocking it at this point. So we want to try to hold on to this as long as possible. Take the pawn here, obviously, that's the completely right pawn, but probably discard these 4s. Because we have 3 Dora at this point, just try and go for a little bit more speed as opposed to anything else here. But we do see the 4 come out, and that is immediately pawned by the player across from us, which I'm sure is going to set us up into a con here. Oh, wow. So we actually get very lucky here. We draw the 4 pin. So extremely lucky at that point. Yeah, not much to say there, honestly. It is what it is. So here we're just waiting on 3, 6. But the player on our right declares a Riichi and Ipatsu's on the pay. So Riichi pots 7 pairs Dora 2. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. That's one of the other benefits of a con here, is it would have kept this hand value a lot lower. Again, with us calling, this con doesn't really do as much for us as it does for other players. So not a big fan of that con at all. But let's go ahead and move on to the next hand. Okay, seems like the green dragon is going to be favoring us today. Let's see if we can figure anything out with this. This kind of hand is always a little bit awkward because you have a lot of slow shapes and everything. You're tempted to go for a half flush here. Let's see what our first draw is. And we do draw another bamboo tile. Player hedges, discards the south wind. I don't mind that at all. But I am looking to go for the half flush here, probably. And we draw a Dora. That definitely makes it a little bit more awkward, but with the north being twice cut, we go ahead and cut that, no problem there. Still cutting towards that hand, but looks like the hand has other ideas. So yeah, at this point, I'm completely fine with this. We discard the 9 over the 1, 2, because this one is easier to upgrade. Like with this 9, 8, if we draw 6, we're still not upgrading it. But if we draw a 4 pin over here, we don't have that same problem because of the other shape nearby. So there we hit 10, not tenpai, Ishanten, sorry. So here we're just waiting for the tenpai, and we see a Riichi on the right here. And we draw a pair of Dora. So it always is so annoying, but we have to slam this one. So you Riichi this, discard the 5. There's really nothing else to do here, I don't think. You could consider dominating it, but I don't think you want to. Like, there's really no upgrade path to this hand or anything. So I think I'm fine with just Riichi here. If this Riichi wasn't on the board, I would have a stronger consideration towards Dama. Usually a 5200 with a bad weight is completely fine to Dama if you have that Yaku, which in this case we do. But I think at this point with the other Riichi on the table, people are going to be playing safe anyway. We'll probably just throw the Riichi here, which is what we do. So we'll just see how it plays out. That got lucky. So we see the 6 come out immediately, which then makes the 3 Tsuchi for us. So Riichi pots Dragon, Dora 2, and an Ura. So nice little Hanuman there. So that puts us into an easy second place. And let's keep playing. Okay, so pretty... actually, hold on. So with this kind of opening here, this hand could... oh, sorry, let me go back one more. So this hand could go a couple different ways here. But this 4-6 makes the 1-4 or the 1-9 redundant. So if we draw a 2-so, that doesn't really do anything for us, right? Because the 3 was already completely fine. If we just don't have the 1 in the hand. So same thing with the 9 there, other side. We keep the 1 around just because of the slight likelihood that we transition into a Sanshoku. But I think it's worth to keep that red dragon out around a little bit longer here. And here we're finding those discards that I was talking about. Alright, and our hand is progressing pretty nicely here, getting a lot of the shapes upgraded, which is great. No real problem here. Alright, finally find the discard for that other 2. I think that's a slight miss. Here the better discard is probably the 4, just because the 2 is a little bit safer against the player to our left and everything. So get rid of the more dangerous tile first with no Riichi on the board or anything, just to make sure that we stay as safe as possible here. And this does hit a pretty wide Ishanten here at this point with this 3-pin draw. So good drop there. Yeah, nothing we can really do if we're not drawing our tiles though. Okay, so we see the Riichi across the table here. Let me back up just a little bit. Yeah, so this 6 does not look safe to throw. So I'm completely fine folding a little bit here. But I do it a little bit differently, I think. I'd rather start with the discard of the 6-so. Just to see if we can get like a Kabe on the 6 if we see all 4 of them or something. And then potentially discard the 7 if we draw something that connects to the 6. So again, it's kind of that principle that I've talked about a couple times. Always discard the most dangerous safe tile first. So when you're folding, it doesn't make sense to discard this North Wind necessarily, because this North Wind is going to be safe against 3 other players at the table, right? It's the last 3 North Winds here. But the 6 is not going to be safe against anyone else. So you kind of narrow your options a bit more if you discard the North Wind here as opposed to the 6. And this one will just let you rebuild shapes in other ways, potentially. Looks like it didn't make a difference in this situation. And opponent is waiting on 6-9. Okay, so that's fine. Alright, so dealer is dealing again here. Alright, so, blistering start here. So we have 2 pawns, one on the right, one on the left. And we have 1 in our hand too that we'll probably call given the chance. Just discarding efficiently here. Again, probably South Wind next, then 9-so, then West Wind. So we'll see if this player here finds that order, and they do. Good. Yeah, I'm fine with this order so far. That 5-pin's pushing it a little bit though. Yeah, the 5-pin was probably a little bit early here. I'd probably still discard the West Wind first here. Relatively minor, but we see a Riichi across the table at this point. And here we find the West discard. Seems a little bit odd. For some reason, I'm not sure why. I think it's fine, though. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that seemed odd. Okay, taking the safe line here, but then we are going to put out a call into a Tsuji 2. The problem is this doesn't leave us many options, right? So we have to do something with this East Wind. and every other player at the table looks like they can use it. So I don't like this call, I don't think. I'd rather just keep the safety around at this point. Yeah, just the safety of different tile choices and everything, and go from there instead. Like, I'm still fine with the 2 discard, depending on what we draw. Just out of curiosity, what would we have drawn here? I forget how to read this, apparently. Oh, no, there we go. So we would have drawn the 4-cell, or sorry, 4-pin. So probably no difference there. Probably discard the 2 either way, but like I said, it gets us a couple more options here and change the just a little bit. But dealer sumos anyway on the 3 here, and it's a Mangan. Lots of Urador hitting right now, so 12,000 points, and this game is going to swing back pretty quickly at that rate. All right, next hand, another one with a ton of honors here. Let's see how we deal with them here. Now that's an odd start. Why did that come out? So I think I saw this a little bit before. Player drew an 8 and discarded it after drawing a 5. So I think they're applying the same principle here. Like, I talk about the 1s and the 4s and everything, and the 1 makes the 4 redundant. 2s and 5s have a similar problem, but it's not quite as bad. The reason being that the 2, if you draw the 3, you still want that 2 either way. In addition, you have the pair over here, so the pair is going to make more of a set shape, right? So the 3 draw is much better with the 2 there. Now, on top of that, with the 2 being next to the Dora, you want to hold on to that longer and discard the 8 first. But either way, I'd definitely be discarding the Guest Wind first. So a little bit odd here, but we'll keep going. Yeah, this player's holding on to the South Wind for some reason. I'm not sure why. Huh. And yeah, once it's cut, we see it come out. It's a very strange play. Okay. Hand going around is normal. We're looking for the White Dragon. We're holding the East a little bit long, too. I don't know if there's really a fix for that, though. I think the East is fine to keep around here. And especially now with it being a safe tile, I'm fine with holding on to it. But we do have to watch out for danger a little bit. Wait. When did that happen? Am I just blind? I completely missed this con. Yeah, I mean, 2 other players open. I think the con's okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Just seemed a little bit odd. Alright. But again, we gotta watch out for all that danger potentially at the table, and this is an odd choice here. So what is the point of switching up this tile? A lot of times you'll see it, you know, if we need to improve shapes or something like that, but we have all our shapes fixed at this point. Because we're Arazuke, we have to call this White Dragon, which means we have to keep this 2 as our pair, which means this is going to be a run right here, and this is going to be our open Roundman. So keeping this 3 doesn't actually do anything. So I think discarding the 3 is a bit better. Just keep that safe tile around for a little bit longer. Doesn't end up mattering here. We have a Sanshoku Dora 2. Fine hand here. And we are back down closer to 30,000 here. Continuing on with East 3. Alright. So nothing really jumping out at me just yet here. It's a more normal discard order at the start here. We're discarding ideally towards Tanyao, so we want to see if we can get rid of this 9 and 8. So actually because of that, here we go. Yeah, I think this 8 might be a little bit preemptive. I really want the Tanyao here. So discarding the 9 is completely fine. Discarding the 1, I think, is also completely fine, though there's some corner cases where you want the 1-2 weight there. But either way, I think this 9 pin is probably a better discard first. Okay. And we see a call across the table. Early calls like this you have to watch out a little bit for. It could mean they have a few Dora, And that's an odd switch too, like discarding a 2 that late as a Tadashi. It's a little bit weird, with it being close-ish to the Dora Suji anyway. I guess it's in order at least. It could indicate that they just drew a Dora and switched out for it, but it's hard to read too much into that. Now we are on a Tanyao hand here. We decide not to Riichi the Tenpai. So we're waiting on 4-7 pin. One reason that you wouldn't Riichi this sort of hand would be if we are scared of this hand, if we have things we're going to fold to it, etc. This too is already not folding. This is like one of the most dangerous tiles you can discard this late. It's Dora Suji. It doesn't look safe based on any of their discards. So this is already a pretty dangerous discard. So if we're going to throw that out here, just throw out the Riichi. You know, it's just a complete upside at that point. Unless there's something specific you're looking to break Tenpai on, I don't think it makes sense to just try to Dama this. Oh, and then the... So I'm on the fence here because 3 isn't safe, but conning more Dora is not great either. And we still don't Riichi afterwards. Like, especially with the con on board, you have to slam the Riichi here. And with this, we even saw the extra Dora come up, so now it's Tanyao Dora. Or we could do Riichi Tanyao Dora with 2 Ura checks. Yeah, I think that's definitely a miss. Yeah, so we could have Riichi'd here. It would not have gotten us any extra points from Ura, but it would have gotten us 6,400 instead. So again, a little bit of a miss there. I don't see a reason not to Riichi there. I doubt it would have changed the play of our opponent here. Let's see what they're discarding from. Yeah, so at this point they are basically just trying to chase Tenpai kind of haphazardly. So not even Tenpai just yet, which is a little bit surprising to me. I expected they at least would be that, but it is what it is. All right. Okay. All right. So is what it is, you know, let's move on. Okay. Pretty strong starting hand here. Relatively quick by the look of it at least, but it does need to be Menzen. That is, we can't call any tiles. So pretty quick draws here too. This could be a quick Riichi Pinfu. If we get lucky, we'll upgrade to the Ipeiko first. Wow, but we're not lucky at all. So we draw the red 5, so that's a little bit lucky here. We're just holding perfect Ishanten at this point. Ugh, yeah, and that's ugly. Yeah, sometimes you just get unlucky like that. Like, I don't see any real problem with any of these discards. One minor exception aside, but I don't want to go into Karigiri again. I have a video on it if you're interested. So I'm questioning this 8-pin discard right here is all. Yeah, no, unfortunately, it looks like we're just shutting down at this point. So probably 1 pin, 1 pin. 5 pin. What? Now that I don't understand. Like, if you are breaking the 2-so, why would you drop the 5 pin into this? Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. One thing you really want to work on is consistency at this point, right? So consistency of defense is a huge one. So we see this 1 pin is completely safe here. If we're going to be dropping, you know, completely unsafe tiles like this, let's go ahead and just drop the 1, right? Because we're not going to really hit Tenpai with this kind of hand. We don't want to push the 5 even if we could hit Tenpai. So I think just shutting down and dropping the 1 pin is fine here. You see the 9-so comes out, which is completely safe now. So player does find a decent line, but that 9 is still not safe either. Okay, so I think what's going on here, I think this player is talking themselves into discarding certain tiles, and that's something that I have had problems with a lot. But this 9, like, I get it's a terminal tile and everything, but it's still not safe. You know, it's safe against the player to our left, player to our right, but not the player across. So it's important to find those, you know, really critical discards like that 1 pin that is safe against both the players. Yeah, so work on that defense a little bit for sure.
はいは言うことを聞いてくれませんね。
Oh, and we got lucky too, so they were waiting on the 9 here. But unfortunately for them, they were free 10. Alright. So, another hand with quite a few honors here. So we'll probably see those drop pretty quickly. I still prefer North over Green Dragon here, I think. Actually, this is probably fine. No, we do want the Green Dragon. Okay, talked myself back into it. So reason we drop the North first, it's a Guest Wind, right? So we hold on to the North if we are concerned about a Paifu or something like that. But we have enough other options with our hand that we don't need to commit to that. We have this Dora that we could just end up Dora Tonki. We have this Nobetan weight, the 6 through 9. So we don't really need that Paifu pair. So I'd rather hold on to the Green Dragon. And with 2 Dora cut, that does make sense to drop here. Alright, so improving shapes a little bit. This is always a little bit awkward with all the overlap there. But still okay. One thing I do like that I'll point out, keeping this 3 around here over the 6, there's not a huge change in efficiency. It's all about the Sanshoku. So we can see the 1, 2 here, the 1, 3 there. Keeping this 3 is just going to be better than the 6 in this case. It's a good spot there. And we do find that Sanshoku chance. This is actually turning into a Junchan chance as well. A little bit hard to get there, though. We have to be wary of the player on our left. It looks like they could be on a Manzu Honitsu. When we discard the 5, pulling across the board, not a huge deal. And we are going to discard the Ryanman. The difficult thing is, at what point do we sacrifice the speed? I think I prefer the 7 so discard first. 7 so into 9 so. Just to keep the efficiency around a little bit more. We still have the chances at Jinchan and everything. And the chances at Sanshoku. And then if we draw the 9 so, we end up with the potential Junchan still. So I think I like that a bit better than the 7 here. We see a Khan come out, and now South is double Dora. So I'm mainly concerned about any Riichis that come out or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, not much to do there. Just a relatively small dealer hand. Oh my god, what is it with you in honors right now? Not your fault, obviously, but it is what it is. Wow, this is a hand, though. So here we're definitely dropping that 1 Mon first, almost regardless of what the player on our left discards, I think, because I am okay with forcing something bigger here. Really, the hand is kind of forcing us to do it, right? So, yeah, we're pawning anything we see here. And this could actually end up being cheat. No, okay, so we do get the pawn. Wow, lots of calls at the table out here. Flurry of them. I have a feeling someone's going to have something fast and shut this down, unfortunately. But no, we find the pawn, we find the west. Discarding, okay, things happen a little bit too quickly for me there, sorry. Okay. So 3 comes out here. Player on our right needs some kind of Yaku. So looking at this, I would expect they either need the West Wind or they're Mochi Mochi with us on the Red Dragon, most likely. I'm not sure why the Green Dragon came out exactly. It's probably better to drop West here first. Especially with player on our right going so quickly here, I'd be concerned about them waiting on a pair of the Green Dragons. So yeah, very odd that all these players are calling so quickly here. So yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, and they did have a Yakuai. So yeah, so I wonder if they were Tenpai last turn. I'm gonna check just because. So we were here. Show hands. Alright. Okay, so they were Tenpai the moment we pawned that, so it wouldn't have made a difference here. But just curious at that point. Alright, moving on. A big block of Pinzu tiles here. Again, probably just discarding this 1 bamboo first, followed by the 1 mon. Yeah, I like holding on to the honor a little bit faster. It's one thing that someone taught me once. So basically, if you're going for a Tanyao hand, which is kind of what this hand looks like, a Tanyao or a Pinfu or something, all of those are about the same value as the Yakuhai hand anyway. So you rather keep the Yakuhai around for things that don't fit the Tanyao hands, like this one Mon, this one So, and hold on to this white dragon to see what you can do with it. Might be a little bit older school of thought nowadays, I'm not sure, but it's something that still works pretty well for me. We do complete this set here. The 6 is a miss. The 1 Mon is a better discard, because if we do end up on a weight that we need a pair, the 6 is going to be better in our hand because that creates a Pinfu weight, as opposed to the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a Nobuton and it loses Pinfu. So something to watch out for. We do find a 1 here. 1 drop after finding a pair. Okay. So at this point we're dropping 3, 5 pin, right? No. What? What am I missing? We're scared of someone. Why are we scared? So this 3 I think is coming out because it's completely safe. It was just dropped by the player to our left. I don't see anything particularly dangerous I'm worried about on the board. I'd rather drop 3, 5 here. It's a little bit annoying as far as the weight goes, but like I said, this does create a Pinfu shape. So a little bit of a miss here, I think. Okay, so drawn to a... What? Alright, so the 4 happened because of the 3. The 5 gets drawn. We discard the 7. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. With the 6 in our discards, it's more likely to create a furry 10 shape, so we probably want to ditch the 7 there. So at this point, what's looking dangerous? Player to our right still doesn't look like they have much of anything. Player to our left is probably like Ishan 10. Player across is probably 10 pi. So that makes the 6 discard actually kind of dangerous. So I'd actually be tempted to discard the 3 pin here. Our hand isn't likely to hit for a large amount just yet. So I think I'm more pushing for a 10 pi than anything else. This 4 is super dangerous too. So yeah, we do find the 9 pin discard switching to a chi toy. 9 pin is safer, so I'm completely fine with that. It's not the efficient play, obviously, but I think safety comes first here. 3 pin discard for safety, good. Then 2 pin is going to be safe too. Unfortunately, we draw the wrong matching tile here to make it to 10 pi. So no 10 for us, but is what it is. Yeah, so that 6 pin, or 6 so was kind of dangerous by the look of it. So, yeah, definitely something to watch out for. Always make sure we're committing one way or the other, right? Like, you don't want to half push, half fold, and end up not getting 10 pi either way. If you're going to fold, fold. If you're going to push, push. So just always be careful of those dangerous tiles like that 6 so coming out. Okay, so next up we are in the south round, and just so you guys know, this is going to be a long one. I'm sure you're probably looking down at the video length here and seeing it's probably pretty long. This actually does go to the full west, I saw. I kind of did a quick glance for an overview of the hands. Didn't notice the outcome, but I know it is quite a long game here. Right, so nothing major just yet has happened with our hand. 3 pin. So this is falling for 6 block theory when you shouldn't. Let me back up a little bit here to show it. Okay, so with this kind of draw here, we can see that we have 6 shapes. We have the 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, set of 5s, pair of 9s, pair of 2s, 6, 8. That's 6 shapes. So we want to discard the weakest shape at this point, unless we're keeping one around specifically for value, which we're not. This 2, 3 is going to be kept around no matter what. This 5 pin is already integrated into a complete shape. So here we're looking at what is our weakest shape. The 1, 1, 3 is not, because it has a couple different options of how it can improve. Excuse me. And if anything, we'd probably be discarding the 1 pin first. Players undoubtedly looking at something like a toy or something. With 2 Dora, we don't need to push that though. So I think at this point, better is probably just the 2-2. If you really want to keep the toy options open, you go for the 6-8. But I think 2-2 would be my drop here. Okay, and now we're folding. Sort of. So, so talked about it a little bit already. This 9-pin is not safe. Terminals are not safe against Riichi. Not really any more than just about anything else. Like, yes, this is Sotagawa. I have a video on Sotagawa too if you want to take a look at it. But I feel a lot better discarding the 8 here. Because the 8 isn't going to do anything without this 9 here anyway. So go ahead and drop the 8 here, take the little bit safer line, and then kind of see where the hand takes us. Yep, 1 pin is safe. 9-so is safe. 8-so is not safe. Yeah, so definitely need to clean up your defense a bit more, I think. Because this 8, I don't see any good reason to... Oh, never mind, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I missed the player across, just discarded it. Yeah. So that's completely fine. I won't edit that out so you see sometimes I'm an idiot too. But yeah, no, that 8 is completely fine here. Sorry about that. All right, next hand. Have a West Wind Dora, have 4 pairs already, and a red 5. Not an ideal combination. That helps a lot though. Yeah, so we are just going to be pretty much hard forcing Chi-Toy at this point. Because of that, I kind of like this 8-pin discard early, because it can help throw things off a little bit more. But this 4-mon hold is a little bit odd. Like, this is hedging towards Suwanko. That is 4 concealed triplets. We don't need that here. We have 2 Dora already. Have to complete a 3rd to get our hand. I wouldn't even bother holding onto this 4. So I'd probably prefer just to discard it. Okay. Wow, and that's actually a pretty quick Mangan from player to our left here. Alright. So here we have a double south pair. It looks like a pretty standard development here. Again, red dragon first is a miss here. Always that 1 pin first. That we want the other option basically in case this south wind pair doesn't work out. Luckily it does. And then the 1 pin comes out. Then it gets pawned, which we might have been able to avoid that pawn if they didn't want to pawn that before the red dragon came out. That's a different story. Okay. Okay. I don't think I like that 6 discard as much. I think I prefer the 1 here. Well, actually, I'm second guessing that now. No, I think the 6 is fine. Never mind. Okay, so 3 comes out. We're waiting on a 7 and finding a pair somewhere. But player across looks incredibly scary. So I'm not discarding a single Pinzu for the rest of the game, and ideally not an unsafe honor either. Like, yeah, this one's 1 cut. I'd still be kind of worried about it, unfortunately. It's almost certainly going to be a half flush of some kind. Oh, and this is really risky. It does pass, though. Is that hand worth it? Like, and that's what this always comes back to, right? Like, at what point is it worth this kind of danger in our hand? So, going back a little bit here. Okay. So at this point right here, we still need a pair. No matter what, we still need that pair. We see the Dora just got thrown out by him. Or, sorry, them. So at this point, I want to throw either the 8 or the 9, right? Like, the 8 in case we draw the pair of Dora and do want to risk this. But I think we just start with this 8 here. There are not enough 7s in the game right now. Well, there's not that many missing, but with it being close to the door and everything, people aren't going to throw it as often. I don't know. Like, seems like an odd one here. So I'd rather throw the 8-mon, I think, for a little bit more safety here. Especially with how advanced the player across from us is towards what looks like a flush. And there's another 6. Yeah, so if we're going to throw the 6 through, I might as well throw the 9, right? Like, it's roughly the same either way. Yeah, we're just going for fire here. And, yep, sure enough, they were waiting on a Pinzu, and we just luckily didn't deal in. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Like, this looks dangerous the moment that you start discarding this 3-pin here. Always something to keep an eye out for with opponent's hands. You know, pretty much direct flush right here. This reads as nothing else but a flush. With 8-7 into 7-5-6-6. Yeah, there's no way. So I would be trying to avoid those Pinzu as much as possible. All right. So next hand, okay. This one's always a little bit tough because we want vaguely to keep the Chanta option open, but I don't think it's worth the efficiency hit, so I'd take the 1-mon probably cut here. But we're keeping the red dragon cut. So again, kind of same problem. I've gone over it a couple times. I'm not going to keep beating it down. Yeah, just something to keep an eye out for. Yeah, and that's the other problem here too. So let me talk about this shape real quick. Okay, so Shunsu next to Tatsu are good. Now what that means, I know I just threw lots of random Japanese words that probably even a lot of Mahjong players out there haven't heard before. When you have a completed shape like the 3-4-5, shapes that are next to it are better than shapes that are next to incomplete shapes like this 9 here in general. So in this kind of situation, I would rather discard this 9 first before the 1. Then in this situation, when we would have drawn that 2 right here, then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which has a lot of options to upgrade to pairs and everything. So at this point, we just have an extra shape, and it's just not great, unfortunately. We do end up finding something in that Nobutan shape there, discarding the 6. All right. So worth noting, no player at this point is above 30,000, which is what the trigger for, wow, Ryanbeigo chance, which is what the trigger for going to West is. So we're actually calling into Tenpai for Tanyao. I don't mind that at all. I'm kind of a fan of that. This is a little bit dangerous. We have to watch out for the player to our left. But I'm fine with this. I think this is completely fine. And then the sumo happens right away anyway. Oof, on our waiting tile too. Yeah, not much we can do there. Yeah, I do like the attempted push there, trying to shut down the hand to our left, especially with the potential for them to just sumo something big and push us into last anyway. So I like the attempt to try to speed up. Pretty well played overall. As far as tactics go, just keep an eye on that efficiency a bit. Oh, oops, wrong button. Okay, so off into West 1 we go. So at this point, the first person over 30,000 wins, unless there's a rare situation where a dealer wins, goes over 30,000 at the same time there's a double roll as another player that is actually over the dealer score. Like I said, very corner case scenario, but it is something to keep in mind. All right. So, with that being said, we're trying to keep our head afloat. We are trying to avoid hitting last, because this is a standard ladder game. Last avoidance should be our priority for online games like this. Yeah, so slight miss here. Keep this 3 over the 6 here, just for a little bit better efficiency. If we draw the Tuso, then it's a Pinfu weight. If we don't, then it's a two-sided weight either way, with a little bit more outs than this weight is. But we draw the pair either way, so it doesn't matter. So we go ahead and throw the Riichi down. Yeah, completely fine.
Ron desu.
We do find Ron after another Riichi comes out. So a bit lucky there, but we do keep our head afloat. So at this point, we are in second place by 1,700 points. And we have a pretty decent starting hand here next. Alright, so pretty normal discards. It's always weird to see the West discarded last, but it's West round, right? So, it is what it is. Okay, player to our left getting a little bit dangerous. We want to avoid dealing in here as much as possible, because that looks like it could be like Toi Toi Yakuhai for 5,200. Not quite enough to take them over that limit, but still something we got to watch out for. Okay, 3-1 break here. So I don't disagree with the order of the 3-1 break. I also don't know if I agree with 3-1 break here. So it's probably a little bit counterintuitive compared to what I normally say. I'd probably drop the 8 here. We can lock our 9 in as the pair. It's also a little bit of safety if the player to our left continues to look dangerous. With it being Sotogawa to the 7, it doesn't look super dangerous either. So we probably drop that here and hold the other shapes around for just a little bit. And the 8 comes out as completely safe as well. And we discard a 9. Why do we discard that here? We want... what? We're gonna lock that in as our pair for some reason? No, that doesn't make sense. There's a perceived danger here. And I think that danger is the 4-mon discard. Yeah, I'm okay with the 9 at this point then. So we're starting to look a little bit dangerous. Player to our right only needs a small hand to go up over 30, which honestly we'd be fine with. We'd be fine with dealing into that even. If we can give him a 1,500 point hand or something. 1,300, I guess. But, yeah. Seems like a little bit odd with the timing more than anything. Because of that position, the 8 was just about as safe as the 9. Okay, now we have our actual Riichi on the board. So clear and present danger, so to speak. And unfortunately, we don't really have much as far as safety goes. So I think at this point our safest tile is actually the 5-so, and I think that's what we have to discard here. The 2 and the 8 pass, so they're not likely to deal into anyone else. But we choose to discard that instead. So the 2's not safe into the Ippatsu turn for the Riichi. That could easily get us in last by itself, right? So if we deal into an Ippatsu. Yeah, I think you just need a little bit tighter defense online in general. Like, we are trying to avoid last. We're in second right now. The absolute worst we can get is third. Like, if player across deals into the player to our left, for example. And they have a monster hand, or at least a Mongun hand. So... yeah, I don't like the dangerous discard here. So I think that's why I'm going for the 5-so. 5-so is Nakatsuchi, so between the 2 and the 8 on each Tsuchi line. Yeah, I don't like this 2 discard at all. Alright, but luckily it was just small. It was not some Mongun hand like we were worried about, which would have put us in the last place. And we get to survive to fight another day. West 3 it is. So we have a few pairs here, another pair. And again, this 9-pin discard is the way to go. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Yeah, so another pair. So we have Chi-Toi. And now we don't have the options of keeping honors around really either, because we already dropped them. Yeah. It's a little bit unfortunate overall. When the Dora comes out, why? So if we get a Chi-Toi, it's 3,200 points on a Riichi. That is not enough to end the game. So we... yeah, we want to keep that Dora around, I think. There's just not really any benefit to discarding it. I'd rather force Tanyao and discard the pair of 1-so than discard the 2 here, I think. Instead, we're forcing Chi-Toi and dealing into what looks like it could be an all green. Maybe so that is. So, God, unfortunate for us. We keep dealing into these small hands here. So the 1-so can't be discarded here, right? Like, and I don't care about this player to our right. I'm worried about the player across. Like, this hand looks dangerous. I get that they discarded a couple bamboo tiles, but they could be on anything. Like, it could be just Toy Toy. It could be the full flush Toy Toy. It could be anything here. So with that, I don't like this 1-so discard at all. Better would be the 4-pin, because the 4-pin just came out. It's safer. We still have the options for anything, really. We can get the Ipego over here, keep the 2s around. Honestly, even just throwing the 2 back should be fine, because we're blocking the Toy Toy from having 3 of them. Oh, and it's completely safe against the Toy Toy. So yeah, no, I think this was definitely a mistake to drop the 1 at this point, I think. Yeah, okay. But still, relatively small hand, again, luckily. And we are in all last, so we need 4,800 points. And if we get hit for 4,800 points, we go into last. These West 4s are always exciting. Now, for those of you that don't know how this works, if you make it to West 4 on Mahjong Seoul here, and no one's above 30,000 by the end of West, it ends anyway. So if dealer doesn't win here, say player across deal wins a 2,000 point hand off us, or 3,900 point hand off us, that doesn't put them above, but we don't go to North. It just ends and we're in last. So it's a very tricky situation to play, West 4 is. The last time I made it to West 4, I won with 27,800 points. It was a hell of a game. Lots of back and forth, just like this one. Alright, so trying to go for speed here. Keeping the Yakuhai around a little bit longer, which I don't mind. And we're starting to pick up sets, and player across has something fast. So it looks like a flush. So probably find a discard our honors first here. Try to get him out of the hand. I'd almost be tempted to keep back the Shanpon weight, though. It's probably greedy. Yeah, Sanchoku's just better here. I like the Sanchoku. Okay, now we have some other options. And what are we finding? Ooh, throwing away the Sanchoku. Why? What does that 3-so get us? Yeah, I don't see anything that 3-so really gets us. Oof, this is always a fun one, right? So here we have to be very careful. It is a half flush. They're most likely to be waiting on the 3-pin. If they sumo that 3-pin, then that is enough to overtake us and throw us into last place. If it isn't a 3-pin, what else could it be here? Like the 2 came out, right? At the same time. Yeah. So that is either a 1, a 4, or a 3. So those are our 3 dangerous tiles right now. Anytime someone goes Hidaka-tanki, that is this naked single tile pair weight, you always want to keep track of what tile just came out, because it's most likely something near there. I'm betting it's 1, 3, 4 here. So I'm going to take a look just to see if I'm right here, and it is a 1. So gotta watch out for everything at this point until that tile changes. So completely safe. 8-so discard is good. I like the 8-so. 5-pin is safe now. See, I don't even like this 1. This 1 could easily be a trap weight here. Probably not enough though, is it? 2,600 points? No, it would be enough actually to put us into last anyway. Yeah, so I don't even like this 1-so here, I don't think.
Done!
But we do see the 1-pin get dealt out by someone else here, and it is that Mangan. So luckily, that leaves us in second place. Oh, no, sorry, third place. I forgot we were 100 points behind. So yeah, definitely a couple things to work on. Defense, general efficiency, and consistency of those first turn discards. Try to keep an eye out for those 1 and 4 shapes, as opposed to discarding Yakuhai early, especially when you're going for low value hands like Tanya and Pinfu. So I think that's all I got. Thank you so much for sending in the video, and I will see you guys next time.